Spring's finally here, and people are wondering about progress on Crystal Springs, East Brunswick's Family Aquatic Center. Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. This week, Judith Lebline assures residents that construction of the Aquatic Center is right on schedule. Mystery author and Wall Street headhunter Annette Meyers visits Douglas College and talks about the craft of writing. And Kathleen Enns encourages caretakers of elderly loved ones to find out about the Senior Center's Saturday Adult Daycare program. These features and more this week, including a review of the Town Council meeting held Tuesday night, and a preview of an unusual edition of Exercise the Right Choice. But first, here's a look into April on Channel 8. Lenore Kulik helps you start the month off right with Bands for a Better Body. That's Monday morning at 10. Stories from the Library follows at 10:30. Tuesday night, watch for Just Kidding at 7 o'clock and For You and Your Money at 7:30. Paul Hansen discusses credit and collections with Ira Levine. The school board election is coming up in a few weeks. Be an informed voter. Watch the school budget hearing, cablecast live from the library, Tuesday night at 8. Coverage continues Wednesday night with a live cablecast of the PTA Board of Education Candidates Forum. That's at 7:30. Check the Community Bulletin Board for additional programming information and announcements of local events.
I'm here at Crystal Springs Family Aquatic Center with your March construction update. Things are moving along beautifully. Even though it's a little chilly, we're down here and work is progressing nicely. Lots of underground pipe has been laid, and a lot of the activity is underground. We're also see behind us some forms. Those forms are for the lap pool and the lazy river. We'll be starting gunite next week, and that's the construction process where we do the sidewalls of the pools. I also want to emphasize that the small lake, that part that we used to swim in, has also been completed and will soon be filled. So you'll be seeing pictures of it in its state. We've put some riprap around it. It's going to be very attractive, and it'll still be a small part of the old park that many of you love. I just want to talk to you a little bit about membership. You may have heard that we've met our membership projections, and that's for our financial pro forma, but there are still family memberships left, and there's about 200 left, so you need to get in now. We will be cutting off at 1,700 and taking a waiting list. Once the place opens, we'll know how we can handle the crowds, and then we'll contemplate opening it back up. But we want our East Brunswick families in, so get in now while there's still some space. It's also time to sign up for swimming lessons and all the other fun things that'll be happening. Again, we're opening on July 4th. It'll be a great, great day at Crystal Springs, and we hope to see you then.
At the Township Council meeting held Tuesday night, Township seniors filled the Senior Center to discuss Mayor Ira Skowski's appointment of Fran Galina to the position of Director of the Department on Aging. Residents active with the center questioned Galina's qualifications for the position.
The director should be a well-qualified, specially trained person with knowledge of the senior population, a person with the capacity to work one-on-one or in a group setting, a person with supervisory skills and more knowledge than the center staff, an individual able to make decisions as well as able to listen, and a person who has the highest regard for the older population of our town.
It just does not seem as if the process, if what was reported in the paper is accurate, and I grant that it may not be, that process is consistent with the type of person that we need to be heading this center. It seems to me that the ad that was placed in the paper, reflected a very different position and a very different person. And I think that it's incumbent upon you to rethink that person.
Mayor Skowski defended Galina's appointment and his record of support as councilman and mayor for township seniors. He cited his support for the game room expansion in 1989, for the outreach and caregivers programs, for Meals on Wheels, and for the establishment of the Department on Aging and Cynthia Schachter's promotion from manager to director. He said that this is the first disagreement he's had with seniors in close to 7 years of service.
As a councilman and a mayor, I supported 6 budgets completely with the senior center, not one cut in the senior services over those 6 years. And I'll repeat that, not one cut. Cynthia would come to my office, and many of the seniors would come to my office and say, listen, we need this budget to survive. I supported every single one, and I not once brought up anything that I would cut for that department. Other things are the bus program, also relatively controversial, okay, because we had to buy new capital equipment, supported at 100%. Something as simple as park benches. Somebody called me and said, I need a park benches right in the parking lot over here. We supported that. The parking garage, I supported that. And recently, when I became mayor, first thing I did is set up bi-monthly meetings with the Senior Advisory Committee where we talk about issues. And we've continued to do that on a bi-monthly basis where we can exchange ideas. That was never done in the history of East Brunswick. I also supported, as soon as the request was made, was a traffic light at the intersection of Civic Center and Riders Lane. I can't think of one thing, and maybe somebody could reflect, refresh my memory, thank you, Bert, of something that I did not agree with the seniors. Now, I have a lot of support for the Senior Center. I think I proved that over the years, and I feel I still have a lot of support. When I was going through over 100 resumes, I made the determination relatively early on, in fact, Cynthia was still talking about this, is that I could not find somebody with an extremely strong gerontology background and an extremely strong business background. But it was important for me that the department have both. I am very, very confident that the staff that is within the Senior Center have a very, very strong gerontology background. They don't need a supervisor. I know somebody had stated, well, we need somebody that knows everything about gerontology. Not accurate, okay? Because quite frankly, I have directors in other departments that don't know everything that goes in every department. All due respect to my administrator, who's probably one of the best, I think, in the state. Okay, you cannot possibly know everything for everything that goes on in this municipality. What you have to do is you have to be a strong manager, an ability to supervise people, and the ability to work and be compassionate to others within the department. Fran Galena is that. I interviewed her. She has complete support for this Senior Center, and she will not, I repeat, not hurt this in any way. She will be a major asset to the Senior Center. She will use this, her experience, not only within East Brunswick, but to expand the knowledge that East Brunswick is the best senior citizen center in the state. Didn't come by accident. It came by a lot of hard work from a lot of people, and Fran Galena has the support to do that. If Fran Galena does not do that, like everything else in this municipality, at the end of 1 year, she gets a review. We request input from the seniors. We request input from the staff. We request input from the administrator and the mayor. So if for some reason it didn't work out, we have controls over that.
During the report portion of the meeting, Township Administrator Raymond Stone provided an update on the status of planned traffic lights in town.
Regarding some of the traffic light projects we have in town, Hardenberg and Riva traffic light we expect to have completed next week. The primary green will be on the Riva Avenue side. There will be actuating devices in the road for the Hardenberg approach to that light. As an adjunct to that, the Fresh Ponds intersection with Church will have a flashing light installed very shortly. We have bids in for footings, and the poles are already over Public Works, so we expect that one to be completed by April. The county's progressing very nicely with the traffic light at Evergreen and Cranberry in terms of planning and engineering work. We received a utility agreement from the county that we reviewed. We have to make some changes, but we expect to see some progress, real progress being made there by the end of this spring. Riders Lane and Civic Center traffic light that we all talk about periodically. The Department of Planning and Engineering had an opportunity this past week, late last week actually, to review some plans put together by the county regarding turn radius, various stripings that will be put in at that intersection when the light goes in. That's moving along, and we expect to see that installed by the end of this year at the latest.
Also at the meeting, Mayor Oskowski read a proclamation declaring April Alcohol, Tobacco, and Drug Awareness Month and one supporting Days of Remembrance.
And whereas all citizens of the United States should remember the atrocities committed by Nazi Germany and their collaborators and recognize that each of us must remain vigilant against tyranny. And whereas on Friday, April 8th, 1994, has been designated pursuant to an act of Congress as a day of remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust, known nationally as Yom HaShoah, and whereas it is appropriate for the citizens of East Brunswick, New Jersey, to join in the commemoration with the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the nation's center for learning and remembrance of the Holocaust. Now therefore be proclaimed that I, Ira Oskowski, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, do hereby proclaim the week of Sunday, April 3rd through Sunday, April 10th, 1994, as days of remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust. In memory of those victims, and in the hope that we will strive as a nation and individually to overcome prejudice and inhumanity through education, vigilance, and tolerance. Thank you, Rabbi.
Hi, I'm Patty Sullivan. For This Week in East Brunswick, I'm interviewing Kathleen Enns, the new director for the Day Care Center for East Brunswick.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Patty.
Why don't you tell our audience what an adult daycare center is?
Okay. Well, an adult daycare center is a structured program for the frail elderly. And by frail elderly, what I'm referring to are people that are 60 or older that due to a mental or a physical impairment need assistance or supervision that they could not safely receive from a senior citizen center.
Why did you choose a Saturday?
The reason for that, there's really a few reasons. One is because the center where the program is going to be housed is going to be in the East Brunswick Senior Citizen Center, and that is being utilized during the week by our regular senior citizen program, so it wouldn't be available for the week. The other reason is because there are adult daycare programs in the community, in the neighboring communities, but there does not seem to be anything available on the weekends. And for many people, the weekend is when they really need some assistance because they are going to get their chores done that they haven't been able to do during the week when they're working. You know, or to go grocery shopping, to visit friends, that kind of a thing. And they're really not able to do that when they need to provide supervision or care for an older person.
Kathy, who's eligible for this program?
Okay, well, they would need to be 60 or older, be a resident of Middlesex County, and again, have a physical or a cognitive impairment which causes them to need supervision and assistance so that they're not able to utilize a senior citizen center during the week.
Can you give me a quick description of what you mean by physical impairment?
Okay, well, that would be somebody because of perhaps have had a stroke, and they would need to have some assistance in perhaps just getting around the center, getting to and from the bathroom. That because of a senior citizen center with the client staff ratio, they're just not capable of providing that kind of assistance. One thing that I do need to mention, however, is that because we would not be a medical facility, we would not be able to provide any kind of heavy lifting. For instance, if someone was in a wheelchair and they could not transfer themselves to the toilet, we would not be able to provide that kind of lifting, nor would we be able to help someone who was incontinent because of the kind of care that we would have at the facility. However, if somebody has memory problems and they need to be reminded to go to the bathroom, or they need to be directed to the bathroom or what to do when they get there, that would be something we would be able to help them with.
Okay, that's good. Now, what about the application and the cost involved?
Okay. Well, if someone was interested in the program, what they would do, they would contact me at the Senior Citizen Center during the week, and we would set up an appointment for them to come in to fill out an application, and I would be able to give them a little bit more information regarding the program. I would also need to do an assessment just to make sure that they were appropriate for the program. And we would require them to have a doctor's evaluation completed before entering the program. As far as cost is concerned, it is a fee for service, and we are looking at $30 a Saturday, which would be 6 hours in duration. Although the price is reasonable for what the program would provide because it would be a structured program, we do realize that for many frail elderly people, because of their limited income as well as their other care needs, that this could be a difficulty for them to meet. So we are looking at funding sources in order to be able to alleviate some of the cost.
And I guess the last question is, where will this program be housed, and what about your staff? You had mentioned that earlier.
Okay. Well, it will be in the East Brunswick Senior Citizen Center next to the library. And as far as staffing is concerned, we will have at least 5 staff members on at all times. It will be myself, an activities assistant, 2 aides, and a custodian. We also are looking to hopefully have a graduate student as well as some volunteers from the community.
Well, if any of you out there would like more information, please contact Kathleen Enns at the East Brunswick Senior Citizen Center at 390-6809. This is Patty Sullivan saying goodbye for This Week in East Brunswick.
Mystery writer Annette Meyers returned to Douglas College, her alma mater, last week to speak to students and fans about life experiences which have contributed to her popular novels. Senior Vice President with Michael King Associates, an executive search and management consulting firm with a Wall Street clientele, Ms. Meyers was formerly executive assistant to Broadway director-producer Al Prince. We asked her why she writes.
Because I'm obsessed. I have to write. I call it the magnificent obsession, but it is my way of expressing myself and my way of dealing with the problems in the world.
Tell me something about the book you have in hand.
Well, Murder the Musical is my 5th mystery featuring Leslie Wetson, girl dancer, ex-dancer who is a headhunter on Wall Street, and with her partner Smith, so that they are Smith and Wetson, they stumble over bodies on Wall Street. And in this book, a friend of Leslie Wetson's, who is a fellow Douglas graduate, comes to her for help. And so she has memories of Douglas.
I heard, as you do.
As I do. Although her memories, I had to give her my memories from the class of '55, and she's the class of '67.
I read that you said that Wetson chooses her own friends. What did you mean by that?
She chooses her own friends. She is not forced by the social pressures or the financial pressures to choose Wall Street or friends that will be important to her financially and to the business. She chooses her own friends, meaning she chooses her theater friends.
Do you think that Wall Street is any more of a place for a woman than it was 15 years ago?
No. It's still closed, although they have token women everywhere, but it is still a man's world, and they don't let us in. And if you notice all those insider trading scandals, there were never any women involved, and that's because the women are not allowed in to listen to the secrets.
But you found a place. How have you done that?
I'm on the outside in that I still work placing stockbrokers. I'm able to stay a little bit above the fray. But and women have been very good headhunters but still they're considered, oh, you girls, you don't know how to handle a situation like this. And we get that a lot. We still get that a lot.
Do you write for women?
I write for people. I write for mystery lovers. I do think I focus on women's issues, women on Wall Street and how they're treated, but I think I focus on anything that bothers me. The limitations of the mystery are limitless now, so that you can, anything that triggers a bit of anger in me gets right into the book in some way or another.
Is that why you write mysteries?
No, I wrote mysteries because I had murder in my heart. I wanted to kill somebody, and I sublimated. But it started with an incident. I was interviewing a stockbroker at the Four Seasons, and he got up and said he had to make a phone call, and he left me with his attaché, and he didn't come back. And I waited a half hour, went downstairs, and saw him huddled over the telephone, and I thought, what if I opened the door and he slides out dead? And that's how it started. He wasn't dead, but I had an idea for a book.
And that made it into a book.
Yeah, made it. It starts, the Big Killing, which is my first book, starts that way.
How does your work relate to your writing?
Well, I seem to be unable to leave my job. I love what I do. I love talking to people. I love asking questions and having them answered. I'm very nosy, and I get material constantly for my writing from the work.
Do you call yourself a feminist?
Yes, I'm a feminist. But sometimes my character needs the help of the man to save the day, mainly because she's short. And you have to deal with that.
Annette Meyers was the 5th speaker of the 1994 Douglas College Spring Lecture Series on best-selling New Jersey women writers. In April, Mary Higgins Clark and Belva Plain will speak. Call 932-9626 for information.
It's really from my father's family, I think, that I descend as a writer, because the Brathmans were storytellers. They never put anything down, but I used to sit as a child and listen to the stories about Europe, about early in the 1920s when they came over to this country, and about before World War I. I began writing my own stories when I was 10 and submitting them to magazines that I have rejection slips from magazines that have been defunct for 40 years. But I never gave up. I was lucky enough to get to be a volunteer in the school library, and the school librarian, a wonderful woman named Bessie McLean, who is still alive. She's about 85 years old. And I had read every book in the library, and I had run out of things to read, and it was somewhere between my 9th and 10th year, and she slipped me a book, and she said, I think you might be interested in this. And it was Nancy Drew. It was The Clue of the Tapping Heels, and it was wonderful. If you are a 9 or 10-year-old child during World War II living on a farm where electricity was not always there, and the radio was your source of entertainment, and books were your life, Nancy Drew expanded your mind. It expanded my mind. It made me see that a woman could be a protagonist and could be a heroine. I think that almost every woman mystery writer today will tell you the same thing I tell you, that it all started with Nancy Drew.
Hi, I'm at the Brunswick Square Mall at the JCPenney Cosmetics counter, and we're here to tell you all about a big special event coming up this April 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's a big glamour makeover, and you can have a chance to be glamorous for a day right close to home. Dolores, tell us about the makeover.
Well, you can sign up for it, and it's the East Brunswick store, JCPenney's. The number is 238-3900, and the extension is 282. It's the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th of April, and the time is from 11 to 7.
It's time for a spring makeup tip for our viewers. Debbie, tell us what's hot this spring.
Well, we have here Eye Sexy, which is all your earth tone shades and some plums that are very nice for the spring and summer. We have Lip Sexy, and we also have brand new is Falsies, which is a mascara, which is built like 3 times the size of your lash.
Okay, so the idea is big long lashes, earth tones, the mauve colors.
Yes.
A lighter natural look for spring.
That's correct.
Okay, so get rid of all those old makeups and powders and come on down and get ready for a new spring. Lighter, cleaner, and sexier. And I'll tell you why we're really here. The May edition of Exercise the Right Choice is going to feature me getting made over, and you're going to learn everything you need to know about makeup. And if they can make me look glamorous, anybody can look glamorous.
And I don't think that would be very hard.